Welcome back to Top 10 Magazine. My name is Tom, and in this video we want to dive into some of history's most notorious and fascinating criminal masterminds.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more top 10 videos like this one.
Number 1. Al Capone. Al Capone ruled Chicago's organized crime empire during the Prohibition era. He provided thousands of establishments with smuggled liquor and ran prostitution, gambling, and protection rackets. Capone planned hits on rival mobsters like the St. Valentine's Day Massacre to consolidate power. He bribed city officials and expanded into other cities. Capone was suspected in over 200 murders but avoided charges due to lack of witnesses and evidence tampering. He was finally indicted on 22 counts of tax evasion in 1931 and convicted, receiving an 11-year prison sentence. Released early for good behavior, he died at home in 1947 from tertiary syphilis. Number 2. Mata Hari. Mata Hari was an exotic dancer who performed provocatively in early 1900s Paris, becoming internationally famous for her sensual near-nude performances and celebrity clients. At the outbreak of World War I, Hari's travels abroad and connections aroused suspicion. She was recruited by German military officers to spy on France. However, she provided little useful intelligence. She was arrested in Paris in 1917 on likely fabricated charges of espionage. Despite minimal evidence, she was quickly convicted by a French military tribunal and executed by firing squad at age 41. Many believe Mata Hari was used as a convenient scapegoat to distract from French military failures. Number 3. Meyer Lansky. Meyer Lansky was one of the most powerful organized crime figures in American history. Born to a poor Jewish family in Eastern Europe, he immigrated to the Lower East Side of Manhattan as a child. There he met his lifelong friend Charles "Lucky" Luciano, with whom he would form the Italian Jewish National Crime Syndicate. Lansky utilized his financial intellect to manage underground gambling, narcotics, and extortion rackets, generating massive cash flows across the country. He also allegedly bribed police and officials to turn a blind eye, allowing his activities to continue unchecked. After Luciano's conviction, Lansky expanded operations to Cuba, Las Vegas, and other cities. Despite his notorious reputation in criminal underworld, Lansky was remarkably adept at avoiding prosecution throughout his life. He died quietly of lung cancer in Miami Beach at age 80, with an alleged net worth of over $600 million. His vast national criminal empire was largely left intact. Number 4. Bonnie and Clyde. Clyde Barrow and Bonnie Parker were young outlaw lovers who captured American imagination during the Great Depression. From 1930 to 34, they and their gang robbed small stores and gas stations at gunpoint in the central U.S., stealing cars and murdering civilians who crossed them. Their youth, apparent love story and press coverage painted them as Robin Hood-style folk heroes, though they killed at least 9 police officers and 4 civilians. After eluding capture for 2 years, Barrow and Parker were ambushed and killed in Louisiana by a posse of lawmen who fired over 130 bullets into their car. They were believed to have committed between 12 to 13 murders and numerous robberies during their 21-month crime spree, cementing their legendary criminal status in death. Number 5. Pablo Escobar. Pablo Escobar headed the notorious Medellin cartel that supplied up to 80% of the cocaine illegally imported to the U.S. during the 1980s and early 1990s, worth over $60 million daily at its peak. Escobar pioneered the use of narcoterrorism, bribery, kidnapping and assassinations to influence Colombian policy and deter extradition efforts. After ordering bombings and killings, Escobar was targeted by a joint Colombian-U.S. task force. He went into hiding at his luxurious estate following a dramatic prison escape in 1992. A 16-month manhunt ended in Escobar's death during a shootout with authorities in Medellin in 1993 as he attempted to flee. In total, Escobar's criminal empire and violence resulted in the deaths of thousands of people, including police, judges, politicians, and civilians. At his peak, the Medellin cartel smuggled up to 15 tons of cocaine per day into the United States.
Don't forget to like and share this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to our channel for more top 10 videos like this one.
Number 6. Whitey Bulger. James Whitey Bulger led South Boston's notorious Winter Hill Gang for decades beginning in the 1970s, while also serving covertly as an FBI informant. While feeding intel to the FBI, Bulger continued to expand the gang's drug distribution and extortion rackets around New England and ordered or directly committed at least 11 grisly mob murders. His corrupt FBI handler ensured investigations into Bulger's crimes went nowhere. After 16 years eluding authorities, he was arrested in California in 2011 at age 81. In 2013, Bulger was convicted of federal racketeering, money laundering, and extortion charges alongside 11 separate murder convictions. In 2018, within 12 hours of being transferred to a federal prison in West Virginia, the 89-year-old Bulger was beaten to death by inmates. Number 7. Griselda Blanco. Griselda Blanco pioneered the Miami-based cocaine drug trade and bloody tactics that came to dominate it in the late 1970s. Known as the Black Widow, she imported enormous quantities of cocaine from Colombia to Miami and oversaw its distribution to New York, Southern California, and Philadelphia. Blanco sought to control the lucrative trade by ordering the murders of rivals, resulting in over 200 deaths. Her distribution network helped spawn the U.S. crack epidemic of the 1980s. Blanco served prison time in the U.S. for drug trafficking before ultimately being deported to Colombia in 2004. She kept a low profile until being gunned down in Medellin by motorcycle assassins at age 69, ending her decades-long criminal career. Number 8. Carlos Lehder. Born in Colombia, Carlos Lehder played a crucial role in the rise of the Medellin cartel and modern cocaine trade. Lehder met George Jung in prison during the 1970s and partnered with him, using private aircraft to smuggle cocaine to the U.S. This became the blueprint for drug trafficking throughout the 1980s. Lehder's connections to Pablo Escobar led him to co-found the Medellin cartel. He helped revolutionize the use of small planes to ferry drugs from Colombia to the Bahamas, Florida, and California. To facilitate this, Lehder notoriously acquired Norman's Cay Island in the Bahamas as a base for smuggling operations. Arrested in 1987, Lehder is currently serving a life sentence plus 135 years in federal prison in the U.S. Number 9. Frank Abagnale. Frank Abagnale was a brilliant conman who successfully pulled off audacious forgeries and deceptions across 26 countries between the ages of 15 and 21. He forged millions of dollars in fraudulent checks and committed credit card and identity fraud while posing as an airline pilot, doctor, lawyer, and professor. He also escaped police custody twice before finally being caught in France in 1969. After serving 5 years in prison, Abagnale was released on the condition he helped the FBI with financial crimes cases. His exaggerated autobiography provided the basis for the hit film Catch Me If You Can. Abagnale now runs a legitimate fraud consulting business and advises institutions on prevention methods. Number 10. El Chapo. Joaquim El Chapo Guzman was leader of Mexico's powerful Sinaloa drug cartel, which transports multi-ton shipments of narcotics to the U.S. He pioneered sophisticated cross-border smuggling tunnels and twice escaped maximum security prisons in Mexico to rebuild the cartel after arrests. After his final recapture in 2016, Guzman was extradited to the U.S. in 2017. He was convicted in 2019 in a New York court on numerous charges related to drug trafficking, money laundering, murder conspiracies, and illegal firearms. Guzman faces a mandatory life sentence plus 30 years at his upcoming sentencing. He remains incarcerated in a top-security federal prison in Colorado that houses the nation's most dangerous criminals.
Want to see more top 10 videos like this one? Subscribe now and join our community.